Streaming now, this is the Wood TV Live Desk.
Storm Team 8 released their winter outlook earlier this week. That is live now on woodtv.com. And you can't talk winter weather in West Michigan without school closures. And good news, ladies and gentlemen, we have a guy for that. Meteorologist Blake Harms. He joins us now. Currently working at our sister station in Lansing, WLNS. Blake, I know you work the morning shift here, so I won't keep you for too long, but how you doing, man?
Hey, doing well. How you doing, Luke?
Doing well. So a few graphics here that you kindly sent over to us that we can work with for our viewers. So let's break those down a little bit and kind of go over those school closures. So kind of let's start with this. We have this wide shot here that you sent over of kind of lower Michigan.
Right. So this is a big change for us over the last few years. This is my third year being with Wood and doing the school closing prediction. Last year was just Grand Rapids in the Grand Rapids area. And now that I'm with WLNS TV in Lansing, the sister station, as you mentioned, we saw an opportunity to do both. So basically we're going from Ludington area all the way down towards Hillsdale. And so it's a very, very wide area. So this is essentially the area that the predictions will be for. So essentially just pushing it east and really in all directions. So really excited to be able to forecast for more school districts here as we head into this winter.
And then we have, kind of some zoomed in photos here as well. We got this northern section with Kent, Muskegon, Ottawa, the counties like that.
Right. So essentially what I wanted to do was make it easier for folks to see the map. And with it being now as wide of an area as you just saw, we wanted a way to break it down so viewers could see the districts easier on a map. So we decided to basically break it down in two sections. Obviously, the northern, like you mentioned, is for areas near and north of Grand Rapids. And then there's a southern version as well that basically goes down the state line.
And we do have the southern section as well, where we can see other counties, Barrie, Kalamazoo, Calhoun, things along those lines. Blake, what goes in, what goes into this effort? Tell me a little bit about kind of how this came about.
Yeah, so it kind of started, I think it was 8 winters ago now, or close to it. It ended up being our second snowiest winter, which was by coincidence. But I essentially had people knew I was into weather and were always asking me, what are the chances of school close? And I thought, I can actually make this into something. So I've tried to grow it each year. Where I started having maps a few years after I first started, and then just kind of blossomed from there. There's a lot of human element involved. And so a lot of folks may just think you can look at a snowfall map and think, it'd be pretty easy to make something like that. And yeah, snowfall goes into it. But there's several aspects that are really important, including how many snow days a district has already had. The temperatures, the wind chill as a result, the timing of the snow, how much snow fell over the weekend. So there are a lot of elements that are really hard to numerize, essentially. And so that's where a lot of human, it's a science, but it's also an art in a sense, because you're trying to look at each situation's different, and different schools will close under different circumstances. So it's really a process that I've tried to nail down a little bit more and more each year. And now we're going up on, I believe, the 9th winter of doing it. So.
You've kind of struck gold doing so. You've amassed a tremendous following, and people really do here in West Michigan and beyond, rely on you for, kind of figuring out what the next day of school will be like in those serious winter storms.
Right. And that's something, like you said, striking gold. That's kind of what it is, because there are kids who are obviously interested in the predictions to see what the chance of them having the day off is. Then you have an aspect of parents who but they utilize it as, okay, so if my district has a high chance of closing tomorrow, maybe I should make plans for daycare for the kids tomorrow if I have to go into work. Teachers obviously enjoy it as well, just from what I found, just from the enjoyment of getting a day off. So it really strikes several demographics in the sense of, it's not just one side. It's not just for the kids. There are a lot of different groups that utilize the predictions, and that helps me to strive to be more accurate with them.
We saw the Storm Team 8, they released their winter outlook. Is there any, early call predictions that you may have put together at this point that are like, okay, maybe this county will see a little more than this county, or this county will see a little less than this county?
Yeah, it's really difficult to pinpoint even just a few days before. But what I can say is, obviously, in a winter where we expect a lot of lake effect snow, you typically would expect the snow belts. So places like Ottawa, Allegan, Van Buren counties, Northborough through Muskegon and Oceana. So certainly the lake effect snow belts almost always get a closing every year, just because we get at least one event. But outside of that, it really just depends on the situation. Like I mentioned, if you get a weekend snow that falls in places places like Ionia and Montcalm counties where a lot of their road crew support comes from MDOT, and MDOT's busy treating the primary roads, that's when you'll start to have a lot of those closings on, say, a Monday or Friday or that sort. So it's hard to pinpoint with any accuracy, but it certainly seems as though we've been pretty fortunate over the last few winters. I think this winter will be a bit more active, and as a result, we'll see some more closings.
And, putting something together like this, obviously you've been doing this for several years now. It's how closely have you been working? It seems like every year, it's been those gradual improvements, whether it's working with, graphics. Like, we just had up, some of the great graphics that you'll be able to use this year in the maps, or working maybe with some of the members here of Storm Team 8 in Grand Rapids. How has that kind of helped you push this forward?
Yeah, absolutely. Working with the folks at Storm Team 8 actually started with me tweeting at them early in high school saying, what do you think the odds are of a snow day? And they were incredibly kind. And that kind of helped me gain the confidence I needed to get going with these. And like I said, it's really just learning based on different scenarios, because there are certain scenarios that tend to occur, every now and again. But every situation is unique. And so relying on the meteorologists at Storm Team 8 has been absolutely phenomenal, and using their expertise. And they've been around for however long, and they understand West Michigan weather and its school closing chances themselves. So utilizing them has been phenomenal. And like I said, it's basically just building a playbook almost of, we got this much snow expected coming at this time. At this point, I pretty much know what to expect within a certain degree. So that's certainly been useful.
Nice. Yeah. Blake, anything else that you'd like to add?
I don't think so. Looking forward to another really successful year. As Storm Team 8 said, a lot of snow early. So we haven't had a lot of school closings before Christmas. We'll see if that changes this year. And if it does, we'll certainly be ready for it.
Folks, we got that graphic up on your screen now. You're able to see. You can follow Blake on Twitter, on Instagram, at WX Blake Harms. He's on Facebook as well. We'll be having those school closing predictions coming up here as we hit those winter months. Blake, really appreciate you taking the time, man.
Thank you, Luke. Thanks for having me.
All right, folks, it's been a look at the Wood TV Live Desk. Thanks for watching. Have a great afternoon.